This video is sponsored by PCBWay. We're going to be working on an audio stand because I saw this video from DSLR video shooter and he built this audio stand system mostly for talking headshots like this. But up until now I've been working with these Rode Wireless Go's for capturing B-roll audio, and it's been working out okay. You know, just clip it onto my trousers and it captures half decent audio of the things that we're building, but it's not the best, right? And I really want the videos to be high quality. So a little while ago I also created this B-roll stand system, which was also inspired by Caleb Pike. But then for, you know, video and that kind of stuff, I had a slider on there, and he used these pistol grips, which is really great because you can operate them one-handed. So I thought I'd adapt those two things and create a B-roll audio stand system. So I actually went ahead and bought the same gear tree arm that Caleb showed in his video from DSLR video shooter. The reason I actually bought it was for this center column structure over here, which allows you to pivot it in whatever direction. In addition to this one, I also bought this extension segment, I suppose. And I was hoping, like, if we attach this to this side, then this would be the moving part, and this can all be locked down quite tight. And so I saw a really good deal on some light stands that I really enjoy. These are light stands with a relatively small base, but, you know, still stable enough to where it's usable for these scenarios. And these were actually specifically from Ambitful, and they were 125 euros, whereas the ones that I usually buy are from Newer. Those are like 200 euros. And what I did is I took, unscrewed the base and took off the middle pole. So there's nothing inherently wrong with this light stand, but it takes two hands to operate. So if you have something in your hand, then you're going to have to put that under your arm, so to say. So one hand to unbolt it, the other hand to adjust the height, and then bolt it back into place. And the nice thing about pistol grips is they are able to go all the way down to the bottom of this light stand, whereas this one, this is the minimum height it's able to go. So my microphone of choice is the AT875R. This one is 150 euros, I think I bought it for. And I watched Curtis Judd's video on this, where he compared it to the MKH416. And it sounded so similar. Like, it's not exactly the same, of course, there's like €1,000 price difference in this thing. These are, not expendable, but if they break, then it's not as bad as a MKH416 breaking. And so for this first iteration, I just put a sandbag on there, screwed my Tascam into it, and strapped a battery bank onto it. I thought that was just going to be it. Like, that would be fine. If it works, it works. There's certain bottlenecks which really annoy me. For example, the Tascam over here takes forever to start up. You have to hold the button for at least 3 seconds, and then it takes another 3 to 4 to actually be ready to go. And then you have to do the same on the Rode Wireless Go's, right? So 3 seconds over here, 3 seconds on the camera. But I was thinking about this, and I still have this Audio Box Go from the Concept Desk setup. If we just put that on the setup and, put a little switch between the USB cable, we can flick the switch and we immediately have audio. So we have a battery bank that's connected to the Audio Box Go. This is in its own enclosure, that's why it looks so different. And then it goes into the Rode Wireless Go, it sends it to the camera up here. So this is what the original Audio Box Go looks like. And the nice thing about this one is it has this mix button over here. When you, rotate that to the other side, it actually mixes the input of the microphone with the output of either the headphones or the main dial over here, which sends it to the rear 2 ports, these two. It's a very simple system where, if you cut off the power, you put it in power again, and then immediately we have audio, which is really great, which is different from the Tascam, which I was using prior to this, because you have to switch and hold, and then it powers on, and it takes quite a long time to actually start up. Alright, so I found some of these tumbler switches from a project I did a couple of years ago. These are 24 volts, so they're not really rated for like high power stuff or anything like that. But I think USB-C stuff is fine. And so what you can do is snap a USB cable in half with a pair of scissors, take off the protective housings. And you might want to do this on a cable that just supplies power, because if you do it on a cable that also transfers data, there's quite a lot of cables in there. But then you can hook up a switch between the red wire. Just strap up all the other wires together again. So when you flick the switch, then it turns off the power, which is really great for saving the battery bank. When I flick the switch, turns on. I sound surprised. That's because I am. The only thing I was a little bit concerned about is because there's no shielding on the cables anymore, if it would introduce noise into the system. But that didn't seem to be the case, so that was quite nice. So one of the first things I really want to do is 3D scan this pistol grip and add like a battery holder at the back over here. so that we can still like allow us to grab it really easily, so a bit further away, so that we can also like grab it and use it for different stuff. So if you'd like access to the 3D scans or the 3D models that I make for, you know, the projects I do on the channel, you can check out my Patreon page and download them over there. If you have the same kind of pistol grips, then you can definitely use these 3D models to, you know, rig up your own system. And so if you're enjoying the video so far as well, then definitely consider subscribing. If you don't subscribe, then you might never see another one of my videos because it doesn't end up in your suggested feed and you might miss something. And also, to make the modeling process a little bit easier, I 3D scanned the power bank. The modeling process was actually quite straightforward. I still had a design laying around from a prior project that I did. I basically just took that, adjusted it a little bit to house the battery bank at the back and also the switch at the back. And then I sent that off to the 3D printer. Now, if you don't have a 3D printer, you might want to check out today's sponsor, PCBWay. They offer a lot of prototyping services, from PCB production and assembly, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, and of course also 3D printing. If you're doing a project like this, I really recommend printing it in nylon or something really strong. I think nylon is the best option here. Resin can also be quite nice, but it's a little bit too brittle, I believe, for something like this. So the prints came out looking really quite awesome. I used this PLA stuff that Sunlu sent over a little while ago, and I used the Creality K1C on this project. I changed out the build plate for a textured one. I just wanted to check out if that was going to solve some issues that I had with it. As soon as the pistol grip is in there, then we can screw it all together. Now, I also came up with an alternative design for the Audio Box Go, and I went for a little bit more of a funky look, but I also added some depth to it so that you don't like easily knock one of the switches out of place, because that's something I'm quite afraid of, like walking past it, knocking one of the switches into, you know, a high decibel count and then having the audio being ruined. So this just prevents that a little bit. And at the bottom of this thing, I added some mounting holes for this cheese plate. This one is from Smallrig. I'll leave some links in the description down below which things I used. And that just screws on from the inside, and made sure that the bolts would have some depth so they're not like interfering with the PCB that's inside. The back plate is held in place with some 3mm bolts. We can still like grab the power bank if we need it for something different, right? Or if we need to recharge it or something. But the idea actually with this light stand system is that I just roll them to a designated charging spot and charge everything up, including the Rode wireless goes. And when I want to shoot a video, I just grab them from the wall, flick the switch, and everything's on. In this case, instead of using the standard spigot mount that came with the Falcam gear tree arm, I use this double pin, which I received with some light stands like a long time ago. But that allows us to put the gear tree arm at the top of it and then screw the audio interface at the bottom. Something that I really enjoy about 3D printing stuff is this directness from like creating something in a CAD program and then seeing it appear on a build plate half an hour later. This is PLA CF, so carbon fiber reinforced PLA, I believe that is. Not entirely sure on that, but it just looks really good. But we just put that on here, and this allows us to attach the Rode wireless go a little bit better. So when I look back at this and look back at the audio solutions I tried in the past, I don't understand why this never popped up in my head and why it took a YouTube video for me to understand that this was possible, but for some reason, yeah. But it's been working out really quite awesome, and it's really improved the quality of the videos I'm able to produce, and also my enjoyment when editing, for example, because the audio is just there, right? And it just sounds so good. So this is some footage from a video that I shot last week, and I used this audio stand to capture all the audio in that video. It performed really well. I really enjoyed this project, and it's really improved the quality of the video production process behind the scenes. That was it for this super quick one-day build video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and hopefully see you in the next one.